Cars coming out now for practice session number 8 for race number 8. This is the 6th round of the 1988 1275 GT Centre Howley Racing Sport Saloon Challenge. Tony Jerram's there in the Ford Anglia 105. Number 29 coming through here is Peter Gorry in the Zebra Car Hire Blackpool Vauxhall Chevette with the BRM Tune engine. Number 47, John Gallagher, and number 8, that's Malcolm Hamilton in the big Jaguar E-Type. 22, Arthur Kellett again in the Stiletto Ford. Number 58, Brian Litherland in the Nissan 240 RS. And number 14, Pete Edwards in the Ford Escort with the Rover engine. Fastest in practice was Chris Marius again in the Ford Mulberry Escort. As we see number 2, that's Chris Crawford in the Lotus Chevrolet. That is entered by Crawford Offshore Services Limited. Number 43 going through, Brian Bradley in the Lotus Europa BDA, and 67, John Sharp in the Ford Mustang. Chris Marius did a time of 47.6, a speed of 102.10. As we see Chris Crawford again in the Lotus. .51 going through there is the midget of Steve Millard, and number 72, that's Steve Cole from Liverpool in the TVR 420. 83, Andy Cummings in the Lenham Limor Coupe Healy. Brian Bradley again, followed through by number 7. That's the big TVR Tuscan of Nigel Roburn. Peter Gorry again, and there goes that big Mustang of 67, John Sharp. John comes from Kidderminster. Number 44, Paul Hardman in the Mini Clubman, and number 66, Steve Stretton in the Ford Mustang Hippo 289. 47 again, John Gallagher from Cheadle in the MG Midget with the BL MC engine. 27, that's Chris Wilson in the Lotus Elan Cosworth, followed through by the Vauxhall Chevette of Peter Gorry. And number 72 there, smoking rather badly, Steve Cole, followed through by number 22, Arthur Kellett again. .141, Howard Hunt in the Mini Howley. That is actually entered by the 1275 GT Centre, as we see a very badly smoking Steve Cole there. I don't know what the problem is, but he's smoking badly. John Gallagher and number 44 again, Peter Hardman, both running in Class C. Here we see the Nissan again of number 58, Brian Litherland, and number 14, Pete Edwards in the Ford Escort with the Rover engine. Peter coming from Wolverhampton. And here comes the big Ford Anglia of Tony Jerram's. Tony comes from Warrington, and that's got the Pinto 2-litre engine, the old Formula 3 engine. 91 going through, Rupert Russell in the Davrian Mark 8, running in Class D. And there we have a coming together between Peter Gorry and Steve Cole. And that would appear to be the end of the Sports and Saloon challenge practice, as they try to clear the two cars here stuck at the hairpin. Cars coming out now for race number 8. That's the 1275 GT Centre Howley Racing Sports Saloon Challenge race. Over 10 laps. And as you can see, conditions absolutely dreadful. There can't be much fun racing in them conditions. Mind you, at least these drivers are inside rather than the single-seaters, which are open to the elements. And here they come on the first lap, and it's number 9 Chris Marius in the lead in the Ford Mulberry Escort. Just make out the Jaguar there of Malcolm Hamilton. He's open to the elements. There we see Al Daly there, number 30. I think that possibly could be Al Daly. Could be here comes the leader on the second lap anyway, and he's followed now by number 72, Steve Cole, and we're getting water in the camera. Terrible conditions to film in these. As we see number 70 going through, that's Peter Burdis in the AMS Racing Ford Capri. There's the Lotus Europa there of 43, Brian Bradley. Third lap, Maris in the lead from Steve Cole, and here comes the Lotus Elan in third place of number 27. That's Chris Wilson from Gatley. I thought the leaders were coming through here. It's number 43, Brian Bradley in the Lotus Europa again with the BDA engine. That's the old Formula 2 engine they used to use when Formula 2 was going strong. Fourth lap, Chris Marius still in the lead, but is being closed in by number 72, Steve Cole. 22 going through there, that's Arthur Kellett in the Stiletto. And there we see the midget of number 51, Steve Millard. Steve comes from Gloucester. 66, the big Ford Mustang of Steve Stretton from Meriden. 44, that's Paul Hardman in the Mini Clubman. Paul from Warrington. And there goes the leader, Chris Marius again, followed through by Steve Cole in the lovely TVR. Here we see the Jaguar of Malcolm Hamilton. Being followed through there by 91, that's the Davrian of Rupert Russell. Tony Jerdams there in the Ford Angular Pinto. There's one of the Ford Mustangs, that of Stephen Stretton. And Steve Cole's lost it. Oh dear. Lost it. He'll never get out of there in these conditions. As we see the Jaguar of Malcolm Hamilton again. Fastest lap for the race was put up by Chris Marius. As we see 67, John Sharp in the Mustang going through. Chris did a time of 55.1, a speed of 88.20. '47 John Gallagher there in the MG Midget. There's Chris Marius on his way to victory. Chris really romped away with the race, winning in a time of 9 minutes 32.6, a speed of 84.87. 83 going through there, Andy Cumming in the Lenham Lamore Coupe Healy. And there's the Davrian of Rupert Russell. Rupert going very well. Malcolm Hamilton in the Jag, that must be a right handful in these conditions. Here we see Tony Jerams again in the Anglia Pinto. Got the Nissan going through there of Brian Litherland, followed through by the Mustang. 44, that's Paul Hardman in the Mini Clubman. And here we see the winner coming through, passing Ryan Bradley there in the Lotus Europa. A good day for Chris Marius, winning 2 races on the programme. Here's the Nissan again of Brian Litherland, followed through what looks like Steve Stretton. The Anglia again of Tony Jerams. There's John Sharp in the other Ford Mustang. Second in the race was Chris Wilson in the Elan, from Arthur Kellett in the Stiletto. Fourth was Rupert Russell in the Davrian. Fifth, John Gallagher in the Midget. And sixth, Peter Edwards in the Escort. And a good Sports Saloon Challenge race. Cars coming out for race 8. This is the combined challenge for the MG Owners Club Open, the Pirelli Porsche Class D and Howley GT's Class E. Cars coming out on their green flag lap. Fastest in practice was Ray Grimes in his Austin Healey Sprite, from Gary Wilson in the Lenham Le Mans Coupe and Howard Hunt in the Little Mini. 10-lap race, 19.57 miles. First lap, and it's Gary Wilson in the lead, from Howard Hunt in the Mini and Ray Grimes in the Austin Healey Sprite. Fourth is Andrew Booth in the Midget. Second lap, and Gary Wilson with a good lead in the Lenham Le Mans Coupe. .75 going through there, Colin Horsley from Derby in the MGB GT V8 Rover. 3.25, that's Chris Cheetham in the Porsche 924. Third lap, and it's Gary Wilson. Gary, who comes from Southport. From the second place man now is the Austin Healey Sprite of number 82, Ray Grimes from Manchester. Third is still Howard Hunt, and fourth Andrew Booth. 3.05 there is Andy Monaghan from Ascot in the Porsche 924, and number 90 there is Colin Flynn in his Austin Mini. Chris Cheetham there in his 924. That car is entered by Chris Turner Racing. And here comes Gary again. Gary, who lives just around the corner from the commentator. 95 going through there, Tony Cartwright in the British Leyland Mini, followed through by 93 Andrew Booth. .305 Andy Monaghan again from Ascot in his 924. 3.16 there, getting a bit crossed up, that's Ian Hewitt in his Porsche 924. Ian comes from Birmingham. .76 Paul Hurst from Black Rod in his midget. Unfortunately, I don't have any results for this particular race, so I can't tell you who did fastest lap. 93 going through there, Andrew Booth again. 109 is John Garton from Blackburn in the Wait For Me Mini. 307 David Pickup from Bolton in his 924. And there's Paul Hurst again. Here we see Andrew Booth leading the Shy Top Mini of Howard Hunt. And we seem to have lost Ray Grimes, as we've seen number 59. That's Jeff Howarth in the Austin Cooper S. David Bowden there, number 320 in the 911T. And here comes the leader, Gary Wilson. Followed through by Andrew Booth, Howard Hunt, number 311 going through there, Mike Pickup, who is leading Class D, the Pirelli Porsche Championship. 97, that's Neil Turner from Andover in the British Leyland Mini Cooper S. David Pickup again. .308 is Peter Chatin in the Porsche 911T. And here comes the dice now for the lead between Andrew Booth and Howard Hunt. We seem to have lost Gary Wilson. 96 going through there is Rob Sinclair from Dewsbury in the British Leyland Mini Clubman. Chris Cheetham again. Number 75, that's Colin Horsley in the big V8 MGB GT. And here comes the battle for the lead again, still led by Andrew Booth from Howard Hunt. And there's Rob Sinclair again from Dewsbury in his little British Leyland Mini. Followed through by 311, Mike Pickup leading Class D. And we have a new leader now. It's number 141, Howard Hunt in the Shy Top Mini from Andrew Booth. Rob Sinclair again. Mike Pickup. 3.25. Chris Cheetham in the Chris Turner Racing 9.24. .320. David Bowden in his 911T. And there's the winner, Howard Hunt, in the Shy Top Mini from Cheadlehume. And that's the end of the combined challenge race.
And that, of course, is...
And here we are at Oulton Park on Saturday the 6th of August 1988 for the BARC Northwestern Centre Championship Car Race Meeting. This is event number 1, the 1275 GT Centre Howley Racing Sports Saloon Challenge Heat 1. Fastest in practice was David Ellis in the big Aston Martin from Chris Marius, Roger Matthews, Chris Crawford and Chris Wilson. The cars all making their way round for the start. Just a case of whether there's enough places on the grid for them all. An absolute mammoth field, and here they come into the first lap into Lodge, and it's 54 David Ellis in the Aston Martin V8 GT, followed through by Chris Marius. 29 going through there, that's Peter Gorry in the Vauxhall Chevette. '71 Nigel Boardman in the Vauxhall Viva. Second lap, and here comes David Ellis. Already with a good lead. There we see the Lotus of Chris Crawford. Number 14 there is the Escort of Pete Edwards from Wolverhampton. That's got a 3.9 litre engine. 59, that's Jeff Howarth in the Austin Cooper S. Somebody in a bit of trouble here. It's number 70, Peter Burdis in the Ford Capri. Third lap. David Ellis. .27 going through there, that's Chris Wilson in the Lotus Elan. 83 going through there, that's Andy Cumming in the Lenham Lamore Coupe. .95 there and 77, 99, 95 Tony Cartwright in the Mini and 77 Mike Vann in the Ford Escort. There's the Westfield 7 of number 98, John Brooks from Manchester. Here we see the Lotus Elan of number 28, that's Roger Matthews, who is now ahead of Chris Marius. Here we see the TVR of Steve Cole, number 72. I haven't got results at hand for this particular heat, but we'll give you overall results on the completion of Heat 2. Number 80 going through there, Peter Brown in the Triumph Dolomite, followed through by the Ford Anglia of Tony Jerems. Roger Matthews again, Lotus Elan number 28, up into second place. Here we see Chris Crawford again in the Lotus. And Steve Cole there getting a little bit twisted up there under braking for Lodge. Andy Cumming again in the Lennon Lamore Coupe. Number 1, that's Phil Hepworth in the Mini. (141) Howard Hunt in the Shy Top Mini. And there goes the leader, David Ellis, on his way to victory. David Ellis went on to win this particular heat, as we see Chris Marius there in the Ford Escort. 27 coming through here, Chris Wilson in his Lotus Elan. And the TVR 420 once more of Steve Cole. Phil Hepworth once more in the Mini. And there's Tony Jerems in the Ford Anglia, followed through by number 80, Peter Brown in the Triumph Dolomite. Number 61 going through, Richard Wood in the Ford Capri. Chris Wilson again, followed through by 71, Nigel Boardman, and number 44, Paul Hardman in the Mini Clubman. Pete Edwards again in the very throaty sounding Ford Escort. And here's the winner of Heat 1, David Ellis. .34 there, Ian Higgins in another Lotus. .41 going through there, Alan Bell in the Austin Healey Sprite. Here we see number 71, Nigel Boardman. And the little Mini there of 44, Paul Hardman, being lapped by Steve Cole in the TVR. Pete Edwards once more. .99 going through there, G. Hamilton Warner in the Davrian Mark 6, and a rather sick sounding Vauxhall Chevette there of Peter Gorry, number 29. Here we see David Ellis again. And that car very stable through Lodge. G. Hamilton Warner again in a little Davrian Mark 6. Here we see number 1, Phil Hepworth, followed by number 91, Eddie Fulkus in the Ginetta G4. 95 again, Tony Cartwright in his little Mini. '65, Colin Robinson in the Escort, followed through once more by Steve Cole. And here's the winner, David Ellis, who won from Roger Matthews and Chris Marius. And that is the end of Heat 1. Cars coming out onto Heat 2. And we've lost Roger Matthews, 3 abreast into Lodge there. David Ellis, Chris Marius and Roger Matthews just didn't go, and Roger is out of the race. No damage done to himself, possibly only to his pride. Second lap, David Ellis in the big Aston Martin in the lead. Andy Cumming there in the Lennon Lamour Coupe. Peter Brown in the Triumph Dolomite. And the leader already with a massive lead, as we see number 27 Chris Wilson now coming through. Andy Cumming, followed through by Chris Crawford in the Lotus. Number 16 going through there, Maurice Lyon in the Escort. And number 44, that's Paul Hardman in the Mini Clubman. Chris Wilson again. Phil Hepworth in his Mini. And now we see Chris Marius is also gone off. So the two main contenders who could have possibly beaten David Ellis are both out. Chris Crawford again. Fastest lap overall was done by David Ellis in the big 5.3 litre Aston Martin. He recorded a time of 1 minute 39.7, a speed of 99.98, a new lap record. Chris Wilson again. There we see the Austin Healey Sprite of Alan Bell again, number 41. And Steve Cole. Pete Edwards, followed through by number 91. Eddie Fawkes in the Ginetta G4. 141 there is the Shy Top Mini of Howard Hunt, and number 61 Richard Wood in the Ford Capri. 65 Colin Robinson in another Ford Escort. Here we see a close-up there of number 44 Paul Hardman, and here we see a dice between number 83 Andy Cummings and number 1 Phil Hepworth. Maurice Lyon again. Peter Brown. And here we see the new leader, as we've lost David Ellis. It's Chris Wilson, leading overall from Steve Cole. Colin Robinson again, and number 83, Andy Cummings. There goes the leader. Andy Cumming again. Andy is third now at the moment overall. And there we see a very sick car of Eddie Folkus in the Ginetta G4. And it's becoming a bit of a graveyard here at Old Hall, as we see number 41, Alan Bell again in his Sprite. And there goes the winner, Chris Wilson in his Elan, winning overall in a time of 36 minutes 37.2, a speed of 90.73. Second was Steve Cole in the TVR. Third, Andy Cumming in the Lennon Lamour Coupe. Fourth, Phil Hepworth in the Mini Turbo. Fifth, Howard Hunt in the Shy Top Mini. And sixth, Peter Brown in the Triumph Dolomite Sprint. And that is the end of the combined Heat 1 and Heat 2 GT Howley Racing Saloon and Sports Car Race. And here we are at Oulton Park on Saturday the 27th of August 1988 for the Oulton Park Racing Club Championship Car Race meeting. This is race number 6, the 10-lap race for the 1275 GT Centre Howley Racing Sports Saloon Challenge for classes A, B and D. First lap, and it's Chris Marius in the Ford Escort from David Ellis in the big Aston Martin. Number 70, Peter Bird is going through there in the Ford Capri. Second lap, and we have a new leader, David Ellis from Chris Marius. Third going through there is John Kent in the TVR. Number 22 going through there is Arthur Kellett in the Stiletto. .65 going through there is Colin Robinson in the Ford Escort. Third lap, and the leaders have already gone through as we see Chris Crawford there in the Lotus, followed by 27, Chris Wilson. Number 14 going through there, Peter Edwards in the Ford Escort. Peter from Wolverhampton. Number 16, Barry Costello from Bolton in his Ford Escort. Both those Escorts running in Class A. And here comes the leader on his fourth lap, David Ellis. 67 there is the big Ford Mustang of John Sharp from Kidderminster. Number 58 going through there. That's Brian Litherland in the Nissan, entered by Video Park Limited. Fastest lap for the race was put up by David Ellis in the Aston Martin. David did a time of 1 minute 2 seconds, a speed of 96.03, a new lap record. Arthur Kellett going through there, Brian Litherland. Here comes the leader on his 5th lap. John Kent there overtaking number 16 Barry Costello, followed through by 28 Roger Matthews. 71 again, that's Nigel Boardman in the Vauxhall Viva. Pete Edwards again, sliding that Escort through Druids. And we really got a traffic jam here as the leaders overtake or lap the midfield bunch. Here comes the leader again. Second now is John Kent, third Chris Marius, and fourth 28 Roger Matthews. Chris Crawford followed by number 23, that's Carl Roberts in the Skoda from Bebington. 111 going through, that's Stephen Holden from Blackpool in the Triumph Spitfire. Brian Litherland again in the Video Part Limited Nissan 240 RS. Barry Costello again. '65 once more. That's Colin Robinson from Wallasey in his Ford Escort. And there's the winner, David Ellis in the Aston Martin. David won in a time of 10 minutes 47.6, a speed of 91.94. Second was John Kent in the TVR. Third and winner of Class B was Roger Matthews in the Lotus Elan. Fourth, Chris Marius in the Escort. Fifth, Chris Crawford in the Lotus. Sixth, Carl Roberts in the Skoda. Winner of Class D was Steve Cole in the TVR 420. And that's the end of the Howley GT race. Cars coming out now for the last race of today, race 8, the Howley GT classes C and E and the St Helens Ford XR3i Challenge. First lap, and it's Graham Adams and Andy Cummings side by side, and we have a clear leader, Graham Adams. Here's Graham on his second lap, Graham driving an MG Midget. Number 4 going through there, Robert Holderness from Winsford in his XR3. And there we see Fiona Webb the daughter of John Webb, in her XR3i. 82, Ray Grimes in his Austin Healey Sprite. And here we see Gary Wilson from Southport in his Lenham Lamore Coupe. And following Gary is number 57, his son Ian Wilson in his MG Midget. Ray Grimes again. Fastest lap for the race was put up by Graham Adams in a time of 1 minute 10.8, a speed of 84.10. As we see number 83, Andy Cumming from Altrincham in his Lenham Lamore Coupe. 48 is David Chapman from Stockport in his Clan Crusader. And we have a spinner there, that's number 59, Jeff Howarth. Number 17 going through there is Alan Mainhand from Congleton in his XR3. And there we see the two leaders, Graham Adams and Gary Wilson. Tony Cartwright, Huddersfield, in his British Leyland Mini. And there's Ian Wilson again. Here comes the leader, Graham Adams. With Gary Wilson in second place. Tony Cartwright again. '69 going through there, Richard Kay from Wetherby in his XR3. Graham Adams. And there we see Fiona Webb again. That car entered by Goodliff Racing. 69 and 4, that's Richard Kay and Robert Holderness. Gary Wilson. Number 22 coming through here is Dave White from Bury St Edmunds in the XR3i. Number 10, Vincent Rowe from Macclesfield in his Escort XR3i. Followed through once more by Richard Kay. One for one there is Howard Hunt from Cheadlehume in the Shy Top Mini. Number 18, Alistair Johnson from Blackburn in his XR3i. Followed through once more by Vincent Rowe. 82, Ray Grimes. We've now lost Graham Adams, who spun off into retirement, and the race now is led by Gary Wilson from Andy Cummings. There we see number 48, David Chapman in the Clan Crusader. Followed through by Fiona Webb. And there's the new leader, Gary Wilson in the Lenham Lamore Coupe. Gary went on to win the race in a time of 12 minutes, 12.7 seconds, a speed of 81.26 miles per hour. Second was Andy Cumming in another Lenham Lamore Coupe. Third, Howard Hunt in the Mini. Fourth was Alan Bell, and winner of Class C. And that is the end of the Howley GT Saloon Sports Challenge and Ford XR3 Challenge. And that's the end of racing here at Alton Park on Saturday the 27th of August.